Hey everyone, I'm Isaac and welcome back to Isaac Reviews 2024. Ever since the late 2000s, things have been pretty rough for the Transformers franchise as far as movies have been concerned. It started out as a successful action figure line from toy giant Hasbro with some TV adaptations and an animated movie back in the 1980s, but after Paramount and Explosion King Michael Bay got their hands on the property, things went downhill fast. And by that, I mean that his 5 Transformers films have been at best mediocre and at worst absolute fucking garbage. But that's not to say all the live-action Transformers films have been that way. The 2 spin-offs, Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast, were surprisingly really good, and they felt like clear proof that these movies can be good in the right hands. And this brings us to the latest in these spin-offs, Transformers 1. It's been almost 4 decades since we last saw the Transformers in an animated film, but now it looks like Paramount is ready to bring the robots in disguise back to the medium with the help of VFX giant Industrial Light and Magic, who previously worked on the live-action films. It's also somewhat notable that they got Josh Cooley in the director's chair, with his previous directorial effort being Toy Story 4. And while it's proven itself to be one of the most polarizing animated films in recent memory, I thought it was just okay, so I'll mainly be focusing on the work he did here. Anyways, leading up to Transformers 1's release, I was sort of interested in it. Sure, the first trailer wasn't all that good, but I still held out hope that the movie itself could be more than meets the eye. And now that I've seen it, hot damn it was. It tells the origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, or as they used to be known, Orion Pax and D-16. And before they became one of the most iconic rivalries in pop culture, they were like brothers. They start out as cogless mining bots in Cybertron's capital city of Iacon, but they want to prove that they can be more than what others see of them. So, alongside fellow cogless robots B-127 and Elita 1, they travel to the surface of the planet in an attempt to find an ancient artifact known as the Matrix of Leadership, which will bring back Cybertron's supply of Energon, which the planet is currently running low on. But after the group gets to the surface, they come across the last surviving Prime and they learn the dark truth about their planet and its corrupt leader, Centennial Prime. And from that point on, nothing would be the same for our 2 leads ever again. Like I mentioned earlier, Transformers 1 is a significant departure from the Michael Bay films in that it's completely animated for a change, and instead of being as overly detailed as possible with the designs, these ones feel a lot more stylized in terms of the art direction. And I don't mean stylized like Spider-Verse or Puss in Boots, I mean that the team at ILM took some creative liberties in bringing these characters to life in this new medium, and it works. The characters are now much more expressive and energetic with this new art style, and it helps to make the most out of whatever situation they find themselves in. But the real visual highlight would have to be the action. It pulls all the stops and creates some of the most exciting action I've seen this year, with tight pacing, solid direction, stellar choreography, and a great score. It was originally rumored that Tom Holkenborg would be doing the score, but given how fucking atrocious his music is, I think they made the right call going with Brian Tyler instead, because he did a really good job here. The other major highlight of the animation would be the environments. Whether it's the bustling city of Iacon or the unforgiving landscape of the surface, there's tons of creativity and detail in these locations, and the characters make the most out of wherever they are. But animation is just one thing. The important thing is that the movie is well written, and thankfully it is. If there's one very tiny nitpick I want to get out of the way real quick, it's that the story itself is kind of predictable by virtue of it being a prequel, so it's not too hard to find out that Sentinel is secretly a bad guy and that D-16 would be radicalized into becoming Megatron as a result. But what matters is the execution, and that more than makes up for it by delivering a powerful story about 2 brothers in arms torn apart by their vastly different ideologies. Think Revenge of the Sith, but not as depressing. At the heart of this movie is the relationship between Orion Pax and D-16. It's a heartbreaking showcase of how even the closest of friends can be torn apart due to extreme worldviews, where even if we want them to pull through, we know that won't happen and that D-16 is too far down this path to change. And the big cause of all this is the villain, Sentinel Prime. Now yes, it was kind of predictable that he would be the bad guy all along, but what makes him work as a twist villain compared to others like him is how he's written and how he impacts the story. Whereas a lot of twist villains suddenly do a complete 180 with their personality, Sentinel stays mostly the same. He's still shown to be eccentric and larger than life in his mannerisms, but now there's the added bonus that he's a pure evil monster who's willing to kill anyone who stands in his way. So it's nice to see another villain who's just evil for the sake of being evil. No redemption, no moral ambiguity, just pure evil from start to finish. We could use more villains like that nowadays. If I had a nickel for every time a recent animated movie based on a Hasbro IP had commentary on the rise of fascist authoritarianism and how seemingly ordinary people can be radicalized into far-right extremism, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Another element of Transformers 1 that I want to highlight would be the voice acting. All the actors gave some excellent performances here, but the standouts would have to be Brian Tyree Henry and Jon Hamm as the movie's villains. They do an amazing job capturing the range of the characters' personalities, being able to go from cold and calculating to completely unhinged while still sounding great. As for the humor, while I wouldn't say it's the funniest thing out there and some of the jokes could have been delivered better, it's overall pretty funny and it did manage to make me laugh a few times. I can't think of much else to say about this movie, so in conclusion, Transformers 1 is easily the best movie in the franchise thus far, but considering most of its competition, that's not a very high bar to clear. Either way, it's a surprisingly well-made film with some exceptional writing and character development, great performances, exhilarating action scenes, and stunning animation. I'd say this is an absolute must-watch for Transformers fans, and I'd even recommend this as a good starting point for newcomers. I may not have expected too much from it before it came out, but I'm happy to say that I was pleasantly surprised. So I'll be giving Transformers 1 a 9 out of 10 because even if most of the live-action movies weren't very good, it's clear that there's more to this franchise than meets the eye. Next time, I'll finally be talking about The Wild Robot, and I might also do a retrospective video on It Ends With Us since it'll have come out on streaming by then. As for The Wild Robot, this is without a doubt my most anticipated movie of the year, and I mean that in general. It's coming from the extremely talented Chris Sanders, the book it's based on is amazing, and the reviews so far have been absolutely glowing, so I have a feeling I'm gonna be in for something truly special. Anyways, thanks for watching this episode of Isaac Reviews 2024, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you all later.